Morning, it's Reverend Oli Preston from St Peter's Halliwell, bringing the next thought for the day as we make our way through Holy Week. Still in the Gospel of Luke, but this time for these few days shuffling forward. So today we're looking at Luke chapter 22, starting at verse 54, going to the end of verse 71. Just been through yesterday Jesus praying with his friends in the Garden of Gethsemane. We went past his arrest. And we now pick up the action there where the guards, temple guards who've come to arrest him have seized Jesus and they lead him away. Verse 54. It's hard in this passage to avoid really wrestling with the person of Peter. He's a key focus in here. We see there in verse 54 that Peter follows at a distance, and then we have this very famous account in the following bit of Peter denying Jesus 3 times. Lots has been said about it. I don't need to go back over, but I guess my reflection as we look at that is thinking about how often I can be just like Peter. That even as someone who is a Church of England minister who has been trained and set apart, commissioned, prayed for, released, it's my job to be a professional Christian in some ways, that still I can find myself at key moments feeling unready, feeling a bit caught out, feeling perhaps cautious about owning my faith and about maybe not being ready to speak about it. As a parish, we've recently been looking at the Faith Pictures course, which we'll include a link for under the video. Something that you maybe in this time of isolation you might want to have a look through those sessions of videos and the questions and stuff yourself or with people in your house, maybe others in a small group over video conference or social media in other ways. But where Faith Pictures takes the reality that for many of us faith can be something that is really deeply personal in a way that can make it hard to talk about, actually, that we care about it so much, that it's something that we feel so personally that matters so much, can make it hard to talk about. Here we see in this passage Peter with his best friend, with the man he's been following for 3 years, but that in this moment of crisis, when Peter is up against it, when there's threat involved, Peter doesn't feel able to own that faith that he has in Jesus, that he's thrown by the circumstance, that he's thrown by the pressure, and that at this key time, 3 times in a row, Peter says he doesn't even know him. And then the most gutting verse, I think, for this passage, verse 61, just after Peter has said it again, the Lord turned and looked straight at Peter. And as I sit remembering those moments when I've not been prepared to speak about my faith, when there's been a wide open opportunity, when someone said, so why are you a vicar? You don't really believe all this stuff, do you? What have you been doing at the weekend? Well, what do you do for work, as I'm sat in the hairdressers? As those spaces where it's not forcing anything, where it's totally natural, but where I still find myself choking. What do I say? Seeing those eyes of Jesus, and that for Peter, I imagine that must have been the worst part, realising that he's let his best friend down, realising that he has let himself down, and yet in those eyes, I imagine great love and the forgiveness that we know so well as being Jesus' trademark stamp. That forgiveness is there, and that makes it more hurtful to know that I've let him down, but it says, pick yourself up and try again. And so maybe, as I say, in this space, I think I'm going to be working on it. I encourage you to maybe consider looking through Faith Pictures stuff as well, thinking about what makes it, why is it difficult to talk about faith, and what can I do to sharpen myself to be more ready for those opportunities, so that at this time when everything's going a bit crazy in the world, police sirens included, when lots of people are starting to ask questions about faith, about prayer, about why we would trust God, about where God is, that we can be ready to say, I don't have all the answers, but let me tell you about my friend. God bless you and keep you, and we'll see you again soon.